Hey everybody. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, took so long. Alright, this next story that I have is called That Time I Was a Twin, Meshell story. Before we get started, I do not give anybody the right to use my works. These are all my words, all my writing, all my thoughts, all my feelings, emotions, da 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 da. So, if you're gonna share it, give me credit, but that's it. Alright, The Time I Was a Twin, Meshell story. The year was 1988. We were Pisces. We were sisters. We were twins. I was born February 19th at 11:57 p.m. She was born on the 20th, 3 minutes later. She hated me for the 3-minute difference, but somebody had to be born first. We were only typical twins from the outside looking in. Our mother made us wear matching clothes and hairstyles, and we were always together, but that was my mother's doing as well. Apart from our identical faces, which I didn't find so identical, we had nothing in common. Not even love for each other, or for who in our family we loved. I was a mommy's girl, and she was daddy's little angel. I loved school, she loved sports. I felt most important standing in the kitchen preparing with mama. She loved sitting at the table, waiting with daddy. Our hatred and competitive spirit was reserved just for us. We seemed normal to the outside world and to our parents. Amongst each other stood chaos. I'm actually lying. We did have something in common. Depression. It just affected me more. To be honest, I was never entirely sure if she truly was depressed or competing for sympathy, which I never wanted. They say the oldest twin is always the most dominant, more aggressive twin. They didn't know me. I was casual, shy, and a people pleaser. She was colorful, loud, and a people magnet. I've always felt as if I stood in her shadow. The funniest thing about the last statement is that I've always felt deep down that she wanted me to feel that way. For instance, when I joined Girl Scouts, so did she. And then made everyone in our troop worship her and forget about me. In middle school, when I joined the band, she joined the baton team. Her sparkly short blue and gold shorts took the attention of all the guys in the band. That bright smile made all the girls want to be her friend. Were we not to stand next to each other, I oftentimes felt forgotten. I'm unsure of why God would make two bodies with the same face. She was enough for the both of us. Like, really, more than enough. She already did everything that I did, dated the same guys I dated, worked at the same jobs, took the same classes. She was living my life a step behind me, but doing it better. I cracked open the off-brand vodka and drank straight from the bottle. I still had the car running as I sat drinking, trying not to gag. I barely drank, maybe once or twice a year. So the little vodka I did drink was making small beads of sweat appear above my top lip. I slowly wiped it away, as well as a stubborn tear. I adjusted the AC in the car and took another sip. I had a half a tank of gas left, and for theatrics, I did not want to leave and risk her showing up. Mia started to whimper, so I turned around and readjusted her binky. As she laid there, sucking the pacifier, I saw the deep dimple disappear and then reappear with each suck. Mia's one dimple was on her right cheek. I felt the pacifier loosen up under my finger as she drifted off into a deep sleep. I tucked the purple plaid baby blanket into the car seat around my little angel. I then looked at the adjacent car seat at my other angel, Leah. She was smiling in her sleep. Did she already know I was leaving? Was she too happy for me to be gone? Don't be ridiculous, Meshell, I thought, but still I had to wipe a tear away. Leah's dimple was on her left cheek. It was deeper than Mia's and took the slightest facial movement to make it appear. I was a twin with twins. My girls were a replica of Rochelle and I, all the way down to the dimple assignment. Just like Rochelle, Leah was always smiling and capturing hearts. I slipped my pinky finger into her little, balled-up fist. She adjusted to my touch. When one would suck the binky in, the other would be going out. I saw Leah inhale as Mia exhaled. They even twitched at the same time, but on opposite sides. I had given birth to these beautiful brown cherubs, not even 2 months ago. I took a couple more sips from the bottle, then I put it down. The buzz was now in effect. I reached into my purse and pulled out the prescription amitriptyline and popped 2 of them with more vodka. I was taking more pills than usual, and it seemed as if my condition worsened. Lately, and especially since I've given birth, I just couldn't seem to shake this case of the blues. Nothing cheered me up, and all of my situations, no matter how minor, triggered major responses. I turned back and glanced at my babies again. Damn, they even look like her. I mean, I know we're identical, and to see her, I should see myself, but I can't explain it. I only saw her and her beauty. I turned back around and looked at the clock. It was 12:27 p.m. I had been parked outside of her house for nearly an hour now. What the fuck? I said out loud. Then I thought, how long does it take to fuck someone else's man to get your ass home? I didn't want to wake my babies up, so I gripped the steering wheel as tight as I could and clenched my teeth. I wanted to scream, but I only gripped and clenched tighter. When I could finally let go, I popped 2 more amitriptylines and followed these with vodka. Now that I was drunk, I didn't even gag as I drank. It was a cheap kosher vodka that I had got at the Jewish mart by my house. They were the only store willing to sell liquor illegally before noon. I love my babies so much. I was so happy when I found out Adam and I were expecting. We will both be first-time parents, and it was something that I got to experience alone, this motherhood thing. And I cherished all 9 months. I tried to cherish this last month and a few days as well, but something in me, in my brain, was just off. I went to my doctor and he was not helpful either. He prescribed me rest and multivitamins. I truly felt trapped and I was unsure of why. I felt another wave of anxiety begin and I grabbed the steering wheel to prepare for the impact. I was able to not break down this time. I took another swig from the bottle. I was halfway through the 1.75-liter bottle. I looked back at my sleeping beauties. I'm sorry, I thought. Mommy, sorry, I said softly. I could have sworn I saw Leah smile. There was so much going through my mind, so much I wanted to say. I wish I had time to say all that I needed. My heart ached at my silence. Then it dawned on me. I could write a letter. I would write a letter. That's usually what people in this situation did anyways. Write letters, right? I looked around my car. I found a pen, but nothing to write on. The napkin I found was not big enough to carry all that I needed to say, but I kept it in my hand in case it became my only option. I looked through the glove compartment before finally finding something worthwhile. I settled on an insurance policy paper. It was the type of document that had the 3 color sheets. You know, the white, yellow, and the pink that would let you write on all the pages simultaneously. This was perfect. Both of my girls would get their copy. Leah, Mia, first and foremost, I want you to know how much I love you both. So deeply and endlessly. I'm so sorry that I have to leave you. It may seem to you one day that I was given a choice, but I do not believe that this is true. Having you two will always be the biggest blessing of my life. Please forgive me for my weakness. Just know that I find strength in the fact that I know you two will be together, safe and loved. In all your best moments, I'll be here, just not physically. In all your worst moments, I'll be there to comfort you, just not physically. I took a moment to gather my thoughts and glanced at my baby sleeping so peacefully. As heavy as my heart was, I had toyed with this decision too many times in life, and now I had to choose. I loved them more than life, just not more than death. I looked up when I saw the hot red 1988 Acura Integra. Even her car mimicked mine. I saved to buy myself a used 1986 Integra, and not even a month later, she pulled off the lot with a brand new, shiny red Acura. We worked at the same job, made the same amount, with similar hours. I just never understood. She drove faster than needed down the quiet street. I could hear New Editions, If It Isn't Love, blaring from her car speaker. I knew her. I knew everything about her. She would put her car in park, but before turning it off, she would pop in another cassette so that she could have fresh music for her next drive. Exactly as I thought, she fiddled around in her car for a cassette. She sat up, clapping her hands with joy. What the hell? I thought. It's just a song, Rochelle. I took one more swig from the bottle and wrote my ending to my babies. I tried to make it quick and put all my heart and soul into it. I needed them to know. I was forced to end my letter abruptly when I heard Night and Day by I'll Be Sure blaring from her speakers. What the fuck? Is that my I'll Be Sure tape? I had not seen it since I took that trifling heifer to the mall last week. Now that I think about it, that really was the last time that I saw my cassette. It was sitting in her perfectly manicured hands, being flipped over and over and swooned about. That bitch. She would never stop. I just added that to the list of shit she had taken. I was so tired. So tired. There was no point in gripping the steering wheel for support or clenching my teeth. I screwed the top back on the vodka as well. My purse, I left. It was a Dooney and Burke crossbody, and Adam spent a fortune on it. Fuck Adam too, I thought. I wiped my face. No fear, I said in a whisper. I ripped the papers apart and folded it 3 times. I love you, Leah. I folded. I love you, Mia. I folded. Mommy's sorry. I folded for the last time. I placed the notes into each car seat and turned back to finally, for the last time, turn my car off. Show on the road, I said aloud. No, my life wasn't flashing before me. However, my senses were heightened. I could hear each breath of my babies as they alternated their ins and outs. I could hear the intensity of the binky being sucked and the really quick breaths they took as they each tried to breathe through their nose and suckle the rubber and plastic soother. No matter how impaired I was, I wouldn't allow my babies to be hurt physically. I steadied myself for a few moments against the car and just took in my surroundings. The trees were losing most of their now red and brown leaves. With Halloween being a day away, many people had carved pumpkins on their porch and skeletons hanging from various vantage points around their homes. Rochelle had nothing festive up at all, and the only reason I could come up with was that this was the only pagan holiday I did not partake in. The rest, all the way down to Flag Day, I did. Ironically, so did she. Having to go grocery shopping alone, there was a method to holding twins at the same time. I went to Mia's door first and slipped the handle off of her car seat over the middle of my dominant arm. I tossed their shared pink, blue, and purple diaper bag over my shoulder. I walked back to the driver's door and did the same motion with Leah. Rochelle never noticed us and had made it into her house already. I looked both ways before crossing and carefully made my way to the second to last condo on Johnson Street. I knocked quickly and loudly. I needed this to be over. She was always so loud. Although she was no longer in her living area, I could hear her every move as she made her way throughout the house to open the door. I attempted to pull on the aluminum screen porch door, but it was locked. That actually wasn't like her. She took so long. I debated knocking again. As I lifted my hand to knock again, she was opening the thick white door. "Hey, Meshell," she said, actually sounded surprised. "I wasn't expecting you," she said as she adjusted the silk robe to her beautifully perfect, baby-free body. I couldn't help but to look at her breasts as they sat all perky with no bra assistance, as mine sat huge, swollen, and lactating. "Oh, you bought the babies. Hurry, come in." She quickly unlocked the screen door. Although I was relieved to unload some of the weight, this fake happiness pissed me off. I placed my babies directly in front of me, still sleeping. She peered into each car seat and smiled. "Oh no, my babies are sleeping." "Your babies?" I questioned. "Yes, these are TT's babies," she said in a playful voice. I stood there, still, and studying her face. She seemed so happy, so vibrant, and so carefree. How could she even look at me? How could she even sleep at night? I just stood there, watching and waiting for her to ask me the right questions. "You want something to drink?" "No," I said aloud. In my mind, I shouted, "Wrong question, bitch!" Damn, girl, you over there standing at attention. You want a seat? No. Oh, okay, she said, eyeing me slowly. Um, okay, she laughed. Well, what's up? How are you? Where were you? Yes! I accidentally said out loud, but these were the right questions. She looked puzzled, but she continued. I just left your house. I wanted to choke her, but I held on with both hands to the diaper bag I still had on me. I tried waiting, but you took forever and it's born at your house. She laughed as if her last statement was a joke and not a jab. Is that why you had Adam's dick in your mouth? I had her attention now. She only looked at me, not saying anything. Answer me, goddammit! I said, raising my voice. For the first time in life, there was no smile, no dimple. There was nothing. Maybe I would have felt better if pain showed, remorse, guilt. But she didn't offer up shit. I wanted to drop so many F-bombs, but I kept what was left of my composure together. I've never seen her quiet or at a loss for words, but it didn't matter right now. It would never matter anymore after today. Now was my time to talk, to say what I wanted to say, and it was long overdue. I hate you. I said the words slowly and deliberately. I needed her to feel my words. I've always hated you. Growing up, I used to wish that either I was never born or that you weren't. Her facial expression never changed. I continued. Just because we are twins, I've had to share my whole life with you. Even the things that I never wanted to share with you, you took, just like today. Boyfriends, school friends, they were one thing. But Adam? Really Adam? The father of my kids? Rochelle, when was his thought with you? I don't think she was going to answer, but it didn't matter. I would answer for her. Never. That's when. There's like a sickness in you that makes you want to take everything that I have and make it yours. You already have my face, my voice, my clothes, my car. I was beginning to lose that composure I had fought so hard to maintain. I needed to wrap this up, but my heart, it hurt so bad. I continued. My parents, my friends, my job, my fucking brand new I'll Be Sure tape. Fucking really. The F-bombs were here now. So you know what? You can't take anything else from me. I'll give it to you. Everything. It's all yours, baby. I was manic by now. I took off the diaper bag and flung it at her as hard as I could. She had to steady herself, and still she said nothing. Not a denial or a confession. I wasn't here to fight her, but Lord knows I wanted to. I started taking off all of my jewelry. The necklace Mama gave me before she passed away. The diamond earrings Adam gave me for our second anniversary. The gold ring with the heart in the middle that Daddy gave us for our sweet 16. Here, take it all, I admit. I threw the jewelry in her face as hard as I could. Shit, she exclaimed, cupping her hand over her nose. This was all she had to say? I didn't bother to hold back my tears. These tears, they're yours too. In case you're wondering. I was done looking at her. I bent over and gave Mia a kiss. Then Leah, who was awake and looking at me with what I felt was a knowing stare. I already missed those brown, Bambi-shaped eyes. I kissed her too. I could feel the indentation of that deep, beautiful dimple as my lips kissed her sweet, soft cheek. I stood up and looked at her. They're yours too. I knew that if I looked down, I would lose my nerve, and I couldn't afford to do that now. My mind was made up. I quickly turned around and walked out of the condo. Meshell, wait, I heard her say. I let the screen door slam behind me. Shell, she called after me. I stopped on the last step of her porch. I heard the screen door open and close behind me. I knew she was standing there, but there was nothing to be said. Meshell, her voice trailed off. She couldn't even say it. I walked across the street to my car, leaving her standing there like a broken record, steadily saying, I'm, like a fool. I sat in the car and steadied my shaking hands once again on the steering wheel. There was no frustration this time. There was a little fear of the unknown, but that would be over soon. Mama, Daddy, I'm so sorry, I said out loud to the Polaroid I kept of them on my car visor. I could see Rochelle leave her porch and begin to cross the street. I pressed down the lock of my driver's side door. My life still did not flash before me. Nothing but a life lived in shadows replayed. I looked at the crossbody that I left laying across the passenger seat. Rochelle had made it to the car now. She eyed me with worry. I eyed her with worry. I picked up the bag that was now heavier than it was before. I came home unexpectedly to find my twin and my man together. The sad part is, no one saw or heard me as I crept over to the silver century safe that housed my exit. They didn't stop when I fiddled with the combination or when I slammed the safe shut. He just sat there in the middle of our bed with his eyes closed, calling to God. And she just sat there on her knees, making him. And she didn't care. She never would. I held the small black and silver .22 Beretta in my hand. It was cold and heavy, like Rochelle's heart. I saw her notice what I had reached for, and she tried to get the handle of my car. Realizing it was locked, she ran to the passenger door, but I was faster and unlocked that one too. She actually looked worried. Bitch, it's too late now. She walked slowly and dreadfully back to my driver's side. I undid the safety. She pleaded for me not to do anything stupid and to get out of the car. I placed the barrel in my mouth. Real panic finally settled across her face as she banged hard against the glass window. Meshell, please, she begged. I love you so much, and I'm so I looked at her in her eyes and flashed my dimple one last time, and I pulled the trigger. All right, that's it for Meshell's story. But I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of another character that's out here. So we're going to get to this real quick. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready? Okay. This one's called That Time I Wasn't Shit. All right. I really did love Shanice. Like, really. But truth of the matter is, I wasn't shit. I wasn't shit before. I'm not shit now. And truthfully, I probably would never be shit. I mean, no one wakes up and decides to not be shit. But here we are, 12 years in, a million memories down, and now destruction. I remember it like it was yesterday. The moment of recognition that I truly just was not shit. I was 12 and had just walked off the bus to head home. As soon as I turned to hit Glover Street with its red paved roads, I noticed the tape everywhere. Police tape, that is. The officer was turning everyone around and saying that Glover Street had no access, but I knew another way. A shallow batch of woods lined all the houses that sat on Glover, and I knew a path that would lead straight to my house. I turned around and hit Bates Avenue. Between some of the apartments on the street was a clear pathway to the woods. I looked around to make sure no one was watching me, and then I hurried to the trees. The path to my house was mostly unused, so I had to scrape past hanging limbs, overgrown plants, and who knows what kind of insects. I was careful not to get my school clothes dirty or ripped, but something told me to hurry. When I was halfway down what would be considered Glover, I smelled the smoke. This quickened my steps. After 45 seconds, I began to feel the heat. I looked up. Although the trees were crowding my vision, the smoke seemed to begin at the end of the woods, the end of Glover Street. I dropped my bag and started to run. I almost tripped over the overgrown brush and the tree stumps, but I pressed on. By the time I made it behind the 2-story blue and white house, I had dirtied up my all-white Air Forces and ripped a hole in my shirt by some forgotten branch. I could barely breathe by the time I arrived. The smoke surrounding me made it all the more difficult. It was crazy how at the beginning of the street it was nice, sunny, and blue. And now as I stood behind this house, and looked up at the sky. It was dark, black, and smoky. I picked up my dirty white t-shirt. I pulled my dirty white t-shirt above my nose and cleared the prickly limbs to exit the bushes. I was a good 50 feet away from the house, but the heat still burns my face to this day. The only light, and it was 3 p.m., was from the fire trucks that lined my yard, and the glowing, blinding house set ablaze before me. With how loud the water was that aimed from all directions, there was a sound that I could hear above all else that seemed to go on and on. My mother's cry. I could hear every word she was saying as if she was standing right in front of me. My family! I could hear her screaming. The water was so loud. I've never heard a real waterfall, but the one at the mall a couple cities away would be less than a whisper in comparison. There was a rainstorm of water being aimed at my house, but somehow the roaring fire was louder. There was crackling sounds, there were snapping sounds. The longer I stood in place watching that angry fire, the more mesmerized I became by it. It was actually roaring. I can't think of how to explain it in words other than the rhythm, the furious dance the fire did, translated from my eyes to my ears. It was deafening. The only thing louder was my mom's scream. It diffused me from the trance of that enraging fire. I had to rub my eyes. They were dry and itchy. My boys, please let me go, she begged. I couldn't hear who she was talking, but she begged again. Travis! Sean! She screamed. Over the water, the taunting fire, I could still hear how her voice cracked with worry. Let me! But I couldn't hear her say go. She was worried about the both of us, I thought. Stupid place to sit and think if my mom really loved me. But here I was, addicted to her previous screams. Of her family, her say the name Sean, like she said Jesus on her holiest of days. I'm okay, Mama, I thought, taking a step in the direction of her once amplified voice. I could barely inhale. I gripped my shirt tighter to my nose and mouth and took one more breath, and then took a step towards the now comforting woods. I couldn't go to the woods. I started a quick jog to my mom. I prayed with each step that the house was empty. My next few steps I counted. First step, Mama. Second step, me. Third step, Travis was safe and not at home. Fourth step, my daddy went to the liquor store like he usually did when I got home. I repeated these last thoughts until I made it to the side of the house. Then I heard his voice. Rochelle! Shell! Baby! Babe! Then his voice was lost in the flames as well. On my fifth step, I looked up. There in the corner window was Travis. My brother was frantically banging on the window, trying to break it. I almost ran to the house, but the heat kept me at a distance. My eyes stayed locked to his, although the heat was causing my eyes to both water and sting. The blurry outline of Travis banging furiously on the window put me in a panic. That window was something my mother always told my father he needed to fix. My father always agreed, but never got around to doing it. I looked around for something, anything, to slug through that window. Travis, wait! I yelled, choking on the smoke. The first thing I saw was a flower pot, and I grabbed it. I threw it as hard as I could at the window, but it just bounced back and fell on the ground. Travis was a floor above me, and my eyes were blurry, but I could see the fear, the desperation, the ending in his eyes. I picked up the ceramic flower pot and hurled it at the glass again, and nothing happened. As I went to try a third time, I was lifted into the air. No! I yelled, choking and trying to force the firefighter to let me go. My brother! I screamed, but by now the firefighters were starting to circle the back of the house too, and the water drowned out my shrieks. As I was being taken to where I heard my parents' voice, I looked up. Travis's figure was still at the window, now less frantic. I gave my third and final attempt with the pot still clenched in my hand. I could barely aim, being carried and all, but I had to. I tossed the flower pot knowing that it wouldn't make it, but praying that it would. It made it. I couldn't even hear my own voice over the roar of the fire and the slapping of the water, but I heard the crack of the window as the flower pot connected with it. The firefighter that was carrying me paused, finally taking note of what was distracting me. Kid, is there somebody in the... He never finished his sentence. I saw my brother sink with the now one-story house. The crackling of the fire taunted us. I feel like I lost everybody that day. My brother to death, my father to prison, and my mother to grief. I was sent to live with my aunt until my mother got her shit together. I'm 18 now and haven't seen her since Travis died. I was almost 19 and a nigga wasn't looking forward to that. I mean, yeah, the celebration part, but them fucking kids was coming. I mean, they were my kids. But what the fuck? The time was here already? My kids were 8 months old, unborn, but 1 month and they would be here. And I already felt like they were holding me back. Around the time Niecy got pregnant, I wasn't even fucking her raw. She had condoms, she was on the shot, and a nigga pulled out. These twins were like my own personal karma. Twins are not running my family or Shanice's. I hated her for taking the rest of my childhood. Alright, and that's it for that one. But I'll get to it another day, another time. It's going to be lovely. You guys stay tuned in. Let me know. Like, comment, share. Love, like, comment, share. Like, share, comment. All of that good stuff. Alright. Next time.